Hi.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
You know what? We've been doing a lot of cool topics. Last week's topic was on new beginnings. Schools get ready to start. Fall season is changing. Today's topic, is not going to disappoint. We had talked, I'm going to go back just for a little bit. In April, we talked about seeds and planting, okay? During that season change, what we do, because I like to get in the dirt and fill the dirt and put seeds in the ground. And then we talked about, in May, we talked about momentum May. How do we set those goals and keep pushing towards those goals? And then again, this goes right in line with our topic of new beginnings, and we want to know what our crops look like. So, so we have at Courageous Home Care, it's a banana plant.
Ah, yes, we do.
And when that banana plant started, it was one leaf on it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you what I did. I took the plant, made this mistake, took the plant inside of the office, and I thought I'll put it by the window, give it some water and let it grow. Well, the problem with that wasn't getting enough light, and so the one little leaf was starting to wither.
Yeah, it died.
So took it on outside, and colleague was like, you got to give it all the light. Let it sit outside, even when it rains. It's okay if it's out there. And you know what? Now we're going on 4, and another one's coming through.
I saw that.
Okay, so we
pretty soon almost bananas.
Yeah. We're gonna look out there, and pretty soon we'll be able to pick bananas right off our plant there. But you might think about some of the things that you've been planting. What does your crop look like? From all the things that you've been working on, what does it look like? Now, I know you have some plants also at home, right?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Let's talk a little bit about how yours are doing.
Actually, mine, it looks really beautiful. I had some, you remember we talked about it? We had some flowers.
You did.
And then we had the little spike thing that sits in the middle. I guess it's a centerpiece or something. Yeah. And then my son planted some tomatoes around it. So pretty much right now, it looks like hodgepodge of everything going on.
And it's beautiful. It's growing.
Yeah, it's growing.
Okay.
Yeah,
how many pots do you have?
4.
That's really good.
Yeah.
I saw your pots too.
Yeah.
Your pots are enormous. Very, very good.
Yeah.
So you plant with the expectation of receiving this harvest. You plant with the expectation that I'm going to get this beautiful blossom.
For sure.
Okay. I didn't purchase the banana plant with the expectation that I was going to have a withered leaf. But going in line with that is we have to know how to take care of and foster the things that we plant.
Yeah.
I want you to talk a little bit about, we're going to stay on that topic, but we're going to shift a little bit into healthcare. We're going to also talk about some things that we're planning in our own personal lives and how we can deal with those issues. And then we're going to talk a little bit about we can talk about client caregiver relationships and what that looks like. Okay.
For sure.
So we have some good reports here. So talk to me a little bit about, let's go to the healthcare portion, because your plants are doing great.
Right.
Our banana plant at the office is doing pretty good.
Right.
And so you might be doing great in your own gardening, hopefully. And I'm not a gardener. Let me put that, you're
No.
not a flower.
No,
See?
not
And so we're novice at this, but we're not doing bad at that.
Yes.
So how do we know when we're whether it's in, let's start with our work life.
Okay.
Let's start with work life first. How do we know which seeds to start with? Because new beginnings last week.
Yes.
Okay. We have a lot of newness going on. Where do you start?
That's a good question, because I actually had that conversation yesterday, as a matter of fact. So with us, with the department that has the mental intellectual disabilities, we have grown in the last 2-3 months, like exponentially big. So we had like 15 new employees. We counted the numbers yesterday. I was just in awe. Okay. So again, it's some work in progress going along with that, because again, these people don't know us, we don't know them. And so what we are trying to establish is the people that are actually going to come and stay. So, as business perspective, are these people really going to be a good fit for us? And then with the new clients coming on board, and we're like, okay, we really need to make sure these are the people that's going to stay with the company, and, having people call out their very first week. Well, we just hired you. Why are you calling off work? So again, this was the conversation we were, throwing it around yesterday. It was really interesting. So, again, in terms of new beginnings, how to plant the right seed, we as a culture for the company, we want to give our morals and values. Okay, and I had a conversation with a young lady, which is one of our new employees yesterday. Just fascinating. She was just talking about. I approached her as, do you like what you're doing right now? Just trying to see what her thought process is. She said, yeah, I really like it. This is my first time in the healthcare field. I was like, that's pretty cool. I said, well, I'm glad you like it and welcome on board and all of that. And she said, I really like to help people. And you guys seem like a really, really genuine company. You want to help your clients. And I thought, wow, that's a good point, because we want to implant that in every single person that walks in the door.
Again, that C part.
That's that C.
Yes,
we want to implant that. So we want to make sure they know how our heartbeat is.
Right.
And so I went on and told her a story of one of our success stories with our gentleman that passed away, and how we really had the heartbeat to help him come home and pass away in his own home. Even though they told us that was going to be a challenge, we took the challenge on and went head for it. And I told her that story. She was just amazed. I said the whole staff jumped in and really took care of this individual. And we accomplished it. We conquered it, And so I told her that story. She was like, wow, because again, she's new to this field. So it's just, we don't know how much of an impact we're making until someone else says, you guys seem very, very caring for your individuals. And so that helps, the planting of the seed. So it comes from the top on down. Again, your seed is where you start. And whoever comes up, like you said, the banana plant, whatever comes up after that, it has to be a prayerfully good product.
No, I need to...
prayerfully good product.
Let me help you a little bit. Last week we talked about, on the new beginnings, the training. So that once the training, that foundation has been laid, right? You can pretty much move, because now we have something, a blueprint, a plan laid out, designed for those individuals who we've chosen and they've chosen us, and they're ready to hit the ground running. Okay.
Sure.
Now they're here. Okay. We have already put the seed in the ground. We started to plant, and we know we talked about this sunlight and water.
Yes.
Now, remember the analogy I used when I started and I took my plant and I left it inside?
Yeah.
Right? Because I didn't take it out because we know water and light. But I thought it's going to get light because there's a window.
Right.
I thought it's going to be okay. And it started to wither.
Yes.
Well, you know what? We get employees to come through the door. And day 2, I can't be at work today.
Yes.
After we laid this wonderful foundation with training, giving you all the tools that we believe that you need, phone numbers, email addresses, trainings, whatever you need, and then day 2, life happens. So on the work side, how does that, let's talk about it from a company perspective, but then also from the employee perspective, what is happening there? Where's that breakdown so that we can get that continuity?
Again, we as an employer, we can lay out the whole foundation. Again, it's a mindset. So if these individuals are already like this, which we didn't know about when we hired them, it's going to carry on. It doesn't matter where you go. You can switch jobs and go to another job, and it's still probably going to be that individual, unfortunately. So you may have to go through, out of 20 applicants, you might have to go through 10 of them that's going to probably not stay and be good to continue with the company. So
does somebody
that's
hear
an
that?
Expectation, right?
Whoa, when you hear that, you go, that's almost half.
That's half.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
How do you keep your feet on the ground, because you have to restart each time and look at each time as a new beginning. When the leaf withered, we couldn't give up. We had to go back.
Yes.
Find another way, get it outside, pour that water every other day to get it to come back. What do we do in that instance?
In those instances, you just go back to the drawing board and then you try to assess what did I do possibly that we missed during the hiring process. And again, with the surplus of clients coming in, so you have to hire fast, and so it could have been we just hiring fast so we can get someone in that space,
Sure.
And again, so we go back and pull back and see, okay, maybe I missed something, and maybe let's go back to the drawing board and get more people on board, but kind of assess it a little bit different, And so that was our conversation even yesterday. So it's good to have people, but you want the right people in place.
Right ones.
Because if you don't have the right soil, it's gonna die.
Right.
If you have no water, it's gonna die.
Yeah.
And so we are, the grounds of starting up with being employed. Our employers, we employers, we are the groundwork. So if we don't get it right, it's gonna just fall apart from here on out.
Okay. Now I'm the person that has the seed. I put it in. I'm cultivating my soil. I am the one that want to see. I want to see some results. I'm not sure how I'm going to stay encouraged if there is a great possibility that I'm going to lose half the people coming through the door. I'm just using your information.
Yeah.
But not giving up, okay?
Right.
But that's a big pill to swallow.
Yes,
knowing that this is but it's a possibility.
It's a possibility.
How do I keep messing with my soil? And then here's the other part. Out of the 20, we still hope out of that 10. I don't want to say half of my 10, right? Because that's my new pool.
Yeah.
So help me be optimistic that I'm going to get this great result that I did from our banana plant. We did get 3 leaves, and that you got your wonderful flowers with your spike in the middle and tomatoes, and everything's growing.
Yes.
But I want to point out that growth did not occur from April to this month is August. Okay,
Yes.
so you had April, the whole month, May, June, July. So it I think to give us perspective, it does not happen
Overnight.
quickly. So go ahead, I'll let you respond to that.
And again, people they know me, I like to encourage people. At the end of the day, we all want encouragement to know that we're doing such a great job, And so when I do come in contact with people, and I would like to do that as much as possible, encouragement so people can keep going. We need that momentum. We talked about momentum. So it takes, sometimes it takes a little extra push for people to get back in line. So again, just driving our mission, our vision, that's one of the things, because when we had our last meeting, we know to just put those things in, intricately where they understand this is our heartbeat, and this is not a game. We're taking care of people, and we have people's lives, and we can make a change. We can make a difference in these individuals' lives.
That's a very good point. I love the whole idea of work from employer to employee. And we also talked a little bit about new beginnings from clients, their newness, because we talked about children.
Yes.
And we talked about also those who are elderly and dealing with some health issues. And having the right individuals in there to know the needs of the client and to be there for them is critical.
It's critical.
And consistency. Okay,
sure.
You gave us 3. Do you remember our top 3? You gave us 3. I'm putting you on the spot here.
Oh, no way.
But it was attitude.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Consistency and respect.
Yeah.
Attitude, consistency, and respect. Those 3 things that we have to keep in stride because, and I think it's so pertinent for what you're dealing with right now when you talk about making sure you have the right individuals. But the individuals that, remember, they have their new beginning, they're also starting new. We need to make sure that we're giving them what they need. And here's my question to you. What assurance? Because obviously the children who come to you have been in other places.
For sure.
The clients who come to you, they've been in other places.
Yeah.
Okay. So what assurance can you offer that this is going to be home?
And you know what, like I spoke to the staff last week, we all have honeymoon phases. And so there's an individual we just got this week, and his first night, he wouldn't even sleep. Of course, you've been through different situations, different homes. Now you're like, I'm in another home, and so anxiety sits in. So what we try to encourage our staff is to really try to hear them out, kind of put yourself in their shoes, being empathetic. What if it's you that have to go from one home to another, and then you have that feeling, no one really cares about me, no one really likes me. So again, we go through these phases. If at first they do come in, I want to please these people, I want them to like me, they have that in the back of their mind, because we go through a honeymoon phase where they really are angels in disguise.
Absolutely.
And then probably a month later,
sometimes it don't take that long, but
sometimes it doesn't take that long.
Yeah.
And then a month later, you see the real me come out, And so I try to encourage our staff. You read this in the plan. So again, we need to work with those individuals one-on-one and see how we can still build that relationship with that person.
You said something that's important. I don't want to gloss over it. You said it's in their plan.
Yeah.
So these individuals that come, they have care plans with them.
Care plans.
And those care plans have goals outlined in the plan.
Yeah.
It tells you, gives you kind of a bio of the individual, give you demographic information on them. So you know what the individual's dealing with, the challenges they're dealing with. But there's nothing like relationship building.
For sure.
That relationship that you mentioned is critical, because they need to not only know you care, they need to feel that. If I'm in the room with you, I need to feel that you really are concerned about my well-being. And so the same way, it's a two-way, this is a two-way street. So that light that we talk about with plants that they need coming through the window,
That's
right?
it.
That light,
Yeah.
that's the light that the clients need to feel.
Yeah.
That's the light that the clients and the caregivers have to provide in order for these clients to thrive and to flourish. And that's that soil that we were talking about. So on the work side, that's a real a beautiful marriage. I love that you talked about, again, that attitude is critical. That's important. The consistency, because even when their attitude isn't good, you still have to maintain a level of professionalism.
That's right.
And keep a good attitude, be consistent with that, and then offer respect. So no matter what the client, no matter what's happening, what they're doing, you're going to provide a level of respect and treat them with humanity and dignity above everything else.
Yes, for sure.
Let's shift gears. That was wonderful. Let's keep going. I love this. I've got this momentum. We got. It's not only in May right now. It's August. I feel it. Let's go. Okay. So let's talk about on the personal side.
Yes.
Because as caregivers, you and I both know you're giving a lot of yourself. If you care for even loved ones at home, right?
For sure.
If you're providing for a sick spouse, children, elderly parents, or grandparents, or a family member, it's
tough.
It's taxing. It can take a lot, an emotional toll on you, right? Even when you're trying to be the most positive, because you're keeping everybody else going. Okay, so in home, when we're talking about let's start with the caregiver, and that could be employee or it could be just home.
Yeah.
Okay, because we're shifting to home life. How do we take care of ourselves in home, right? As we're tilling the soil.
For sure.
As we have the seed, because we have to keep that. You have to keep yourself reminded, right? Or you can wear out pretty quickly.
For sure.
So let's talk a little bit about what we could do for maintenance.
Maintenance. Yes, you have to pour into yourself. It's not selfish, it's self-care. Okay. So I had to learn that later on in my lifetime, so which is all good. And we've talked about this before about personal development. So I'm really, really big on personal development in terms of I have to, pour into myself first, and then I can pour into others. So my morning routine is like the number one example. I wake up in the morning, I read my Bible, I journal, I pray, I exercise. Even if it's for 5 minutes, I'm going to move this body.
You know what we call that? That's called morning routine.
Morning routine.
Gotta move.
You have to do it, And then you can go out feeling, hey, I've accomplished at least one thing before I walk out the door. And then it just continues. That's when the momentum comes in. Again, not to say I'm going to have the perfect day, but it's usually a better day.
So I hear you saying that morning routine is so critical.
Yes, very critical.
Started with, in your case, is prayer. But you need to start, and you need to be consistent with what that routine is for you.
Sure.
And you got to move the body.
Yes.
Move your body. Talk about movement. Why is that movement so important? Physically. Why is it important to physically move your body?
Yes. It helps with the circulation. It helps with the mind circulation because the blood is flowing. It's flowing all throughout your body. So even if it's some jumping jacks, 15, 20, 30, whatever you need to do, to get that blood circulating throughout your body. And then it brings like endorphins to your brain. It really helps the brain work, And so I try to do that. And if I, like I said, don't get on the treadmill, I would do the trampoline, whatever it needs to do, just to get my bloodstream moving, But it's very, very crucial to me. And I think if anybody tries it, they will see the same results, And
we have done some shows too on physical fitness and care, right? And we talked about some people, you don't necessarily have to be athletic, because when you're talking about caring for others, this is not necessarily a show for fitness, but it is a show for fitness for life.
For life, that's right.
Because you're caring for
survival,
for self,
right?
To maintain self, to be able to provide care for others.
For sure.
So that's a really good thing. You also mentioned taking time I love it. It's care, say it again.
It's not selfish, it's self-care.
Self-care, not selfish. So that self-care that we take, which a lot of times we as caregivers, we don't do it. And I think that because in being selfless, we sometimes think that that it is selfish to take time. But I hear you say, go ahead and take that time. Now, curious for you, in working, we have our normal breaks that we take throughout the day, right? Our 15-minute breaks and our 30 minutes for lunch. How much time do we should devote for care when we're caring for other individuals on the job and at home? How much time should we devote
for care?
For
we're
self-care.
Always caring. Oh, for self-care. For self-care. Your situation, you say that, I'm almost going to laugh because sometimes I don't even eat. So how self-care am I doing sometimes on that one?
I tell her to go eat. I try to help her out.
I forget to eat lunch sometimes, It'll be 4 o'clock and that's, I haven't eaten all
it's time
day
for
since
dinner.
breakfast.
It's time for lunch, dinner. No.
Yeah. So I think sometimes I miss the mark there, but not to say other things I still, take care of myself. It's just, I forget to eat because I'm working.
It's good to give put individuals around you to help you with that as reminders, because we need people around us on a team. Healthcare, when you talk about healthcare, it is a team approach. You being a nurse, those of us who are working the office staff, to be able to do that, we're also caregivers as well. Whether it's medication, the emotional provision that we give to others by keeping a good attitude and being consistent with that and being respectful. Those three tenets or pillars are important. Now we're going to shift a little bit we talked about office and home, okay? The last thing we want to talk about is this idea of being consistent, staying true, staying the course. That's staying the course. If I am the worker and I come on board, love the vision, love the information that you're providing, had a bunch of challenges with this new person. Now, how do I stay the course? This is the biggest part, because look, we did not just get up and have these wonderful plants, right? I didn't have this wonderful banana plant because I just wished there was some time in there.
Yes, for sure.
You didn't get it in your house either with the tomatoes and your wonderful plants. How do we stay the course?
Every day is just, my saying, pluck and pray. That's what I'm saying.
You have a shirt that says that too.
Pluck and pray.
Pluck and pray.
And so, again, if you can teach somebody that mindset, everybody can change their mindset, literally, if they want to. You have to have the desire to change, okay? So if you can teach someone the mindset to, okay, no matter what it looks like, no matter how bad the day looks like, we're still going to have a good day, okay? And I had to do that the other day. I woke up, I was like, oof. I had a bad day that morning. I made it work, though. I had literally 15 minutes to make it work. 15 minutes. So I did a 5-minute run. I read my Bible in 5 minutes. I prayed and ran up the street in my neighborhood and back. 15 minutes. I did it all. And it was a situation that I had a bad morning. I was like, ooh, okay. And I had to make it work.
The other part is that we talk about and we've talked about this before, you're going to have challenges.
For sure.
There is no way to live in this journey, to care for others, and you're going to have losses too, because we have lost clients.
For sure.
We've lost more than one, more than two, more than three. We lose them. And you have to be able to, I mean, that is the reality that none of us, even with our best care, like to deal with. And grief, and as you know, that's a process. So provide grace to yourself in that process, and understand that layout, that's a part of it, right? So your attitude is huge. Surround yourself with a good team, right? Yes. And then I think the other thing is that consistency. I would like for you, this has been a wonderful topic, because when you're talking about what are you seeing from what you're planting, what crops are you seeing, what's coming out, what's sprouting out, what's around you, even if it hasn't happened yet, you can sit after you plant that seed and wait in expectancy, right?
For sure.
Okay. And while they do that, what is your encouragement when we don't see those immediate results? I would like for you to come up with like just a couple of things that for people to keep in mind, as when they don't see the results immediately, what do we do? Because we know they're coming.
Don't quit. That's one thing. You do not want to quit, because again, once you quit, that might be the turnaround when things are going to start happening, So don't quit. Just keep believing that it's going to come. Just keep believing, because if you plant a bamboo seed, it takes 5 years for a bamboo tree to grow.
Oh my.
So say you planted a bamboo seed tree, and you'll say, oh, month 1, nothing. Month 2, well, a year later, nothing. So then you're going to give up. That's still coming up from the ground. So you have to be patient. There's patience.
I like that. Don't quit.
Don't quit.
At all. Be patient.
Be patient.
Oh, I like that.
And believe. I gave you 3, right?
She gave me 3.
Okay.
Don't quit. Be patient.
And
believe. And those individuals who would like to get in touch with you at Courageous Home Care, please let them know how they can do that.
Yes, Courageous Home Care. We're in Lee Summit, 300 Southwest Noel, Independence, Missouri. Lee Summit, Missouri. Phone number 816-699-2352. We are on Facebook, so like us on Facebook, and we have a subscription to YouTube. So subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the time answering the questions and diving in with us today. Another good topic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.